Welcome to another episode of Road to Recovery with your boy Recovery Lord, with your grown man Recovery Lord. What do I want to talk about today? Today I want to talk about, you see that? Things I can control. And you see the remote control here? Because we always looking for the remote and we always want to control things. And unfortunately, it's a lot of people in and out of recovery who take pride in controlling others but can't even control themselves. So what's the first thing on here? Things I can control. The first thing, my attitude. You can control your attitude. You know what I see too much of? People blaming their shitty attitudes on mental health, on their trauma responses and all this stuff. You can control your attitude and stop being so caught up in whatever your weaknesses are. You know, when that's out the window, when you go to Walmart and you see elderly people with one arm still checking receipts, let them excuses go. Please stop using uh, um, ADHD or any form of mental health as an excuse to be mean and nasty and have a nasty attitude. You control your own attitude. Second, you control you control your actions. You see that? My actions. Your actions. Stop blaming other people for the things that you choose to do, for the actions the moves you choose to make. And the reason why it's important to stop blaming people for your actions, because if you do something good and it pans out, are you going to be quick to give somebody else the credit? If no, then stop being so quick to give other people the blame. The next thing that we control our behavior. Your behavior is something that you control. Again, stop blaming it on alcohol. That only works for um I don't know why his name is escaping me. Jamie Foxx. There you go. Thank you. Thank you for the people in the back. Jamie Foxx. That only works for him. Stop blaming your behavior on having a bad day, having a bad morning, getting a rough phone call, your PO. Stop blaming your behavior on your job, your bank account. That's a lot. That's a lot. And when you're a certain age and you're doing this, keep in mind, even children that are a certain age and doing this, they look ridiculous. But it looks even worse when it's an adult doing it. You control who you choose to follow. So when you on social media and you on all these negative pages where they exposing people for things they did, and or you on social media and on the internet and you watching all these negative videos about people getting shot, and you'll be surprised the negative shit that people want to tune into, and then be surprised that they had a nightmare about getting killed and don't see how where this is coming from. So you control who you choose to follow. You also control what I think, what I'm choosing to my thoughts. You better start checking your thoughts, or your thoughts are going to be directed by your cravings. If you don't control your thoughts, then your addiction is giving you cravings, and those cravings are controlling your thoughts. And as they say, as a man thinketh, so shall he be. So if you don't have any control over your sexual desires, over wanting to drink or trying to turn up, if you can't control that, then it's controlling you. And those thoughts What are they leading you towards? Hopefully, not just the bar. Like I say in group all the time, eventually it's time to raise the bar and not go to the damn bar. What else do you control? You control your dreams. Not, and that, I know some people out there. Oh, you talking about astral projection, and yes, and realizing that you to take it back a notch. You control what it is you are, your goals. Sometimes some of your goals start off with being a dream, that inspires you, inspiration, something that is coming and happening internally. You're not waiting for somebody to give you a good idea. You're not waiting for somebody to tell you what you should be working on. Some of this motivation is coming internally, and you're being inspired, and starting a food truck business, going back to school, becoming a barber, and going to Jabari's barbering boot camp. And some of those start off as dreams, and then you put work to it, and it becomes a goal. And for some people, like my man Cardo, the first chair you see when you come in, give you the strongest handshake when you come in there. You know what I mean? It could become a reality for you. Um, how I speak. This is a good one, so I'm gonna put it up. How I speak to myself and others. If you speak to other people nasty all the time, then I know whether you admit it or not. So within, so without. As above, so below. So if you're constantly speaking to other people nasty, then I also know you're beating yourself up. And that's where some of that, you gotta this is the shit you have to let go if the goal is to get better. What else do you control? How I react. You may not always control what people do to you, the situations you find yourself in. You may not always, because see, sometimes people will tell you one thing and then it turn into something else. So you may not always, but you do control how you react to that. And the worst way to react to that is to complain about it 1 minute, but then be okay with it the next. Yeah, they said walk them down here, and we was just gonna go to the store and come back, and before you know it, an hour and two done went by. And sometimes people think they make decisions for you. Oh, you ain't working right now, so you don't got no problem, running errands with me, just in case I run into somebody that owe up some bread. And next thing you know, you find yourself in a situation. Complain about it a little bit, have a couple beers, get you a little half a pill, and before you know it, yeah, it really wasn't that bad, and I got something out of it. If you're getting rewarded with poison, that's not a reward. Rewards benefit and nourish you. If you're getting rewarded with a pill, then you're not getting rewarded. Your addiction is. You also control who you choose to unfollow. That's called growing up sometimes, changing your mind. You know when you're going to lose friends? When you stop doing certain dumb shit. When you stop going to happy hour. When you stop entertaining certain conversations, you're going to lose friends. And the more you get mature, you're going to realize those were just associates. And what you guys associated with is how y'all choose to unwind and let y'all hair down. Maybe that could have been the thing that y'all had in common. So it's people who be together and, oh yeah, that's my road dog, that's my ride or die. And as soon as they stop drinking, man, I don't know why I was effing with Shorty. That was a waste of my time. So get your remote. Stop just looking for the Fire Stick remote. Stop just looking for the remote to the video game. Get the remote to your life. And if it's a dumbass movie on, change the channel. Stop being entertained by the same old sad Tubi movie. And it's you. Stop doing that to yourself. More importantly, stop worrying about things that are not in your control. Because all this stuff that I just mentioned and all these things that are in someone's control, you know what they really want to be in control of? When somebody else ready to do something. When somebody else ready to finally get a therapist. When somebody else taking a medication or not. When somebody else is going to stop getting high. And that's not something that's in your control. That's something that a person got to get tired of their own stuff. You know when change happens? When people get tired of selling their own stamps. And just by the grace of God, as soon as you spend them last little bit of stamps, you're going to see the sale that's going on at Harvest Fair. And all the stuff that you want, the butterscotch crimpets, you feel me? All that stuff. And it's getting nice. So having trinkets on deck and putting stuff on the grill, that's going to be in full effect. And the people who buy your stamps going to be doing that. While your stomach is growling and somebody offer you, oh yeah, you could do this for me. Yep. And try to pay you and not even give you no money. So start looking at the stuff that you're trying to control and that you're letting go, that you should be taking charge in. Before you worry about someone else, make sure you're okay. Before you try to lead somebody else to, oh yeah, because all the people I helped and I got a good heart and this and that, that's cool. But make sure you are straight first and foremost, because you overexerting. One, I say this to my clients all the time. Overextending yourself does not make people love you more. If anything, to be honest, when you constantly overextend yourself, it makes people lose respect for you because they start feeling like, damn, they just letting me do them like this. And then the minute, you know, something happens, guess what? They're going to find somebody. Either they're going to start doing all the stuff you've been doing, the stuff that they make it seem like they cannot figure out. They just can't make a doctor's appointment on their own. They tried and tried. They just, something wrong with the app. They don't know. The minute you stop doing that for them, guess who know how to make a doctor's appointment on their own now? Guess who know how to do half the stuff they've been bluffing on? And if they don't know how to do all that, but know how to rob Peter, you know the saying, to pay Paul, and they could turn water into wine, and they could turn a debt to a bag of weed, and they could wake up owing $50 and still figure something out. If they're using that intelligence to maintain their addiction, then that's showing you that their intelligence has been hijacked by their addiction. And if somebody that's going through all that is your leader, you sicker than them. That's the blind leading the blind. Shout out to everybody that's been tuning in. Shout out to everybody that's been liking, commenting, subscribing. Them numbers looking good. They inspiring me to keep with a message, to keep on moving on, to keep hope alive, to realize, because sometimes it's a reason why a lot of people don't do this kind of work. And that's because you either get a front row seat to somebody changing their life and soaring and living a life better than you could have ever imagined, or you get a front row seat to watch somebody throw their life away and don't acknowledge and recognize their own potential. And because, as me being a farmer, all I do is throw seeds, as my man Troy Melton will holler every time you talk to him. He gonna give this to you. Mike, all I do is throw seeds. They still need water and they still need sunlight. If they don't take hold, they don't take hold. But that don't stop you from throwing seeds. Something that somebody can grow on, one to grow on. Each one teach one. Us being responsible for one another, being my brother's keeper, being my sister's keeper. What happened to that? What happened to those days? Did they all just fade away? That's why I'm a counselor. That's why I'm a counselor, because I be wanting to sing like Max B, but it just be sounding slimy sometimes. But that don't stop a brother from trying and still harmonizing. So that pretty much, for the most part, was my message today. Get your controller. You worry more about the controller for the television, but you not worried about the controller for your life, your steps, your decisions, the people you choose to be around. They say you can learn a lot about who somebody is based off the people they choose to associate with. So, get back in the driver's seat. Get out the passenger seat. Stop being a backseat driver. Get back in the driver's seat and reclaim your life. This is your life. And your life shouldn't just be based off of the trauma you went through. Your life should not just be based off of the fuck ups you have made. Your life is not just based off of your paycheck and what the numbers on there dancing to. You more than that. When things happen and they go all the way left, your paycheck is not the front cover of your damn obituary. So stop hanging your hat on all that on that materialistic stuff. Stop hanging your hat on, what kind of car you drive. That's not gonna be on the front page or the second page of your obituary. Yeah, you damn sure not getting buried in that bad boy. So stop basing your existence on that. The same way, if you feel like you're underemployed or not employed, stop being okay with that. AI is here replacing people who do good jobs and do good services. And you don't want to be the type of person where they don't even need AI to replace you. The person you are and the type of people that you're trying to be are going extinct like T Rexes. And if it's 2026 and you still out here freebasing, when people was doing that to don't believe the hype, that was a whole lifetime ago. Evolve. Because what do we learn? Things that do not evolve in certain times, eventually they perish. They go extinct. Don't want that for yourself. You know what hurts me? Seeing young people and just people, period, so caught up in their funeral. Yeah, don't do this and make sure that bitch is not there. If you doing that and you in your 20s and 30s, that's quite sad. If you worry about what type of damn music and party wings gonna be at your service when you still should be in the business of trying to not only live but live your best life. That means you being the best version of yourself. Some people hear that song and think living their best life is getting the most stamps, getting the best voucher, getting the most, maxing out on the SSI, maxing out on the benefits, maxing out. No, your best life is you being the strongest version of yourself. not having the strongest hand out to grab some shit, especially within context if you a certain age. Because to all my elders and my seniors, y'all done already lived, and y'all at that retirement age, and some people want to be 75, 80, and risk dying at work and shit. So yeah, no, if you that old, then yes, you go ahead and you sit on your porch, but don't just be sitting on the porch talking about them young people. Um, you're right. I'm going on and to this way. So what I'm gonna do is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom, some of the wisdom of knowing the difference is knowing when it's time to let certain things go. Some of the wisdom of knowing the difference is knowing when your words should match your actions. Because at some point in time, people get tired of being a walking contradiction and thinking, just because I have this and I have access to that, I obviously know what I'm talking about. You do not want to be a well dressed failure that hurts you more than the people around you. Okay, you're right. You're right. I said I wasn't. So, um, leave me a comment, hit that like, smash on that like button, subscribe. Subscribe, you're right. Sometimes I mix intelligent concepts and then get on my little, but that's both my natures. It's an upper and lower Egypt for a reason. And when those two combine, when those two natures combine, that is the holy matrimony that is mentioned in your scriptures. So keep coming back. More will be revealed. I don't think I'm gonna do a group tomorrow because even recovery, Lord, needs a break. And that's what this new situation is teaching me now. So either take a break or take a break. But either way, a break gonna happen. So love you all. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up before your miracle happens. And I will see you guys on the next episode of Road to Recovery.